All right, you guys ready for the show? I mean, rehearsal felt pretty good. I just want to make sure you don't want to change anything last minute.
I'm ready. I just hope Hai shows up in time.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Where is he?
Oh, hi, Mark.
Yeah, hey, dude, what's up?
Not much, really. I'm just excited to join you guys in the AD. I'm super excited to be here and cover the LCS and the EU inputs, C9 perks, TL Alfari, CLG Finn. I'm up to date on all the stories.
Right, yeah, but you're on the show next week.
Next week?
Yeah, no, next week. You're on the show next week.
Oh, well, I must have got that confused. My bad. Well, have a good show. I'll see you guys next week. I can't wait to see what kind of illegal plays I see on the Rift.
Is it too late to bring him back? I mean, I could take today off.
No, Mark, stop trying to get out of work. We're like 15 minutes away from showtime. Award-winning performances across the board there. No, but in all seriousness, cannot wait to have Cagewell joining us on the show next week on Friday. So mark your calendars for that LCS Friday. He'll be bringing his insights from across the pond. Of course, it did cost us a Kobe. I don't know. You guys, how do you guys feel about
I'll make that trade any day of the week.
A little bit of an upgrade there.
Oh yeah.
For
1 week, we'll see how it goes. Seems okay.
Yeah, it's a test run, really, to see if we want to make it a permanent thing. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the LCS Countdown. Yesterday gave us a 5-way tie for second place, the C9 playoff lock, and for our Faith Sauce fans out there, what could be the beginning of a CLG miracle run. Today, of course, I'm joined by Hai, Mark Z, and Crumbs to dive into all of the action. Let's kick it off right, though, with yesterday's games. What did you take away from Friday, Crumbs?
Well, TSM was very strong. They opened up with a draft that they'd played before, the Shen and the Hecarim, and they were in a commanding position. We thought, all right, TSM's finally getting back on track. This is how they're playing. Dignitas clearly had no idea how to deal with the Shen, and it was just all a matter of continuing the game slowly but certainly, but TSM did not control the Dragons. Dignitas got all of them, and before you know it, they were able to fight for some reason at this Wolf camp and just deliver a win straight to Dignitas. They actually ended up winning without even taking any gold. They were in the deficit the whole game.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those losses that feels really bad when you look at that goal graph for TSM fans, and there were definitely some decisions around the Dragons that you can maybe point at as things to improve on. But overall, TSM still played a pretty good game, all things considered, and I think as much as it sucks to lose like that, there were some legitimately good things they were doing.
Now, hold up, Crumbs. I am not a fan of my analyst lying on the analyst desk. You said that Dignitas never had a gold lead. I will direct your attention to 4 minutes into the game, 2-0-1. All right? Let's give credit where credit is due, my friend.
Not bad. Good.
Solid 4-second gold lead that they had right there. All right.
Gets one.
Hai, get in. Yeah, exactly. That's your one. That's your one, Crumbs. Lock it up. All right, Hai, what do you got for me?
Let's see. I was very interested in about the CLG run yesterday, actually. They are on a 2-game win streak, I want to say, and I'm really looking forward to how things go here for them. Let's see. What would you guys say? When you get gifted a pentakill, he deserved the quadra, right? The last guy sitting in the base, would you still say that's a deserved pentakill when that guy gives it to him?
I would say so.
Sure.
I mean, that's like half the pentakills in the league, I think, is like base fountain dives.
Counting the stats, right?
If you're in the position where you can give the pentakill to the other person, are you going to do it? I need a yes or no here. If you're in his position, do you give him the pentakill?
If it's solo queue, no. In a pro game, yes.
I mean, the thing is, Destiny tried to troll him when he actually jumps in but stopwatches because he thought the minions would finish it. But then the minions spawn for him and all of them get redirected. He wanted the game to end while he was invisible. He was trying to troll him.
Okay.
Yeah, see? Yeah, there you go. I mean, what's interesting to me about this, of course, is that we've already surpassed our average per year in pentakills. We average 3.77 pentakills per year. That is our 4th in the middle of week 5 of spring. Are you kidding me? It's not quite our deadliest year just yet when it comes to the multi-kills, but we are well on our way. Mark, other series that you were taking a look at from yesterday, though, what stood out to you?
It has to be 100 Thieves versus EG. I mean, just with the Ryoma swap and all the stuff going on with 100 Thieves, I think everyone was really interested. And it started out good. They were making a lot of plays, and they were able to get some kills in the early game, which they had been struggling at. But then the wheels kind of came off in the mid game. They hadn't controlled any dragons. They had an all-in attempt on a Mundo, who just kind of ulted through it because there was no healing reduction. And then after that, the wheels were officially off, and they kind of just slowly lost the game from there. And so I think a lot of people are looking at this 100 Thieves team, knowing that, like, there's a lot of other things they need to fix, even regardless of the mid lane situation. It's not like that should be looked at as a cure-all, and I think Ryoma played pretty well, all things considered, that game.
What about for the side of Evil Geniuses, Crumb? This is a team that at some times has shown us or shown the ability to contest the top dogs, and in some moments they look like they're maybe a bottom-tier team.
What I loved is that they actually were doing the same thing I've been preaching for Jizuke since he joined the league. Just give him the champions he's good at, play around him. They gave him the Echo. He looks so much better on these champions than the regular control mages that the rest of the league is playing. So I think that they're finally just accepting that these are the players they have. They have to play to their strengths, and it looks so much better than trying to force another play style into them.
Now, outside of the games and the teams themselves, what about champions, Crumbs? Where's your attention going?
All right, my attention obviously goes to the jungle because when 11.4 hit, we were thinking, what was going to happen to the jungle? Well, Olaf and Udyr are basically permaban, which has now made Lilia the S-tier jungler. And we saw yesterday, Blabber, Santorin, and Broxa were just crushing on it, not only from the early game invades, but she's really good with these early pushing lanes, allowing you to just run around the map, take control of the jungle camps. And just last week, she was only played 3 games and lost all 3. But this time around, in just the first day, she already has just as many games and 100% win rate. You got to watch out for Lilia today.
Hey, Crumbs, I got a question for you. So this patch, junglers were supposed to be nerfed. In my solo queue games, they're still dominating. So can you tell me, as a jungler yourself, do you actually feel the impact of the nerfs, or do junglers deserve another nerf?
You totally feel it. You feel it. The difference is that before, when you based, you didn't have a completed item. Now you just have the component. So you're missing about maybe a few hundred gold, but it doesn't really matter because you can still get 4-level leads on your opponent. So your jungle versus jungle matchup still relatively the same.
Yeah, I don't want to see any more nerfs there, High.
I want to see a
don't
lot
like what
more.
you're implying there, my friend. Either way, with all that being said, let's get an update on our standings after just yesterday. Cloud9, they're still up there in first place with a 3-game lead at 11-2, followed, of course, by quite a tie in second. We got 100 Thieves, Dignitas, Evil Geniuses, Team Liquid, and TSM all sitting at 8-5. In 7th place, we have Immortals with FlyQuest, CLG, and Golden Guardians rounding it out. Now, after yesterday, Cloud9 locked in playoffs, while unfortunately we saw our first team locked out in Golden Guardians. CLG will need to win every single match from here on out to stay in contention, and one of those second-place teams will also need to lose every match. But everyone still has a chance, except for Golden Guardians, because they're out. Turning our attention to today's schedule, Dignitas hope to keep their spot in second as they take on the Golden Guardians, followed by 100 Thieves facing TSM. We'll close out our day with CLG versus FlyQuest and see if our playoff picture looks any different, or any clearer, rather, by the end of the day. Cloud9 have dominated the standings so far this spring, though Team Liquid, they reigned supreme only a few weeks ago in our lock-in tournament. So today, they'll clash on the Rift, and Blabber will be taken to task by Santorin. Let's take a look.
It's always fun for me personally to play against Team Liquid. They felt like the biggest rival to me ever since I joined C9. And Santorin has always been the jungler that I thought was the best in the league besides myself. Now that they're together, it's obviously a team and a player that I want to beat to show I'm the best, right? To show C9's the best.
I think it's always been a fun matchup against Blabber. I feel like sometimes he just has the upper hand, sometimes I have the upper hand. Now, 2021, I feel like he's been playing better as an individual, but I still have some time to get back in shape.
Hearing Santorin say he needs to get back in shape makes me think of like a boomer versus zoomer kind of thing. They're both younger than me, don't get me wrong. So I feel like a mega boomer compared to them. But it's just like the old man's training to get back to his former glory, while the new kid's just there and just irate at his best. I feel you, Santorin, I really do.
God, that makes me feel old too. Knowing how old you are, High, now I feel even older. Thank you for that. We'll sink our teeth into that matchup a little later on, but for the moment, I do want to dig into a different discussion. Let's talk MVPs. Of course, we can't have this conversation without Blabber, the current king of the jungle.
Yeah, I mean, Blabber's an absolute monster. He's basically leading the LCS in every category you want. You can watch his games. He's hard smurfing. He's killing people in the jungle. He's affecting all his lanes, getting them ahead. He is, I would say, the biggest reason for C9's success. Olaf One Trick is a bit of an overstatement considering he's dominated on so many different champions. And the thing about him is that he's continuing to get better. I think you heard it was Santorin saying it in that piece. He is 1, 2, and 3 all time when you look at splits for kills and assists at 15. Spring, summer, last year, this current split is actually the second highest all time for kills and assists at 15, but his kill to death ratio at 15 is actually double what it was in those splits. He is playing a lot safer, a lot cleaner, and he's doing it without the backup of a mid laner playing around him in Niski quite as much. So I think he has continued to improve, and he looks so good this split. Clear MVP favorite.
First in a whole slew of categories when it comes to junglers. But of course, Blabber isn't the only person putting up MVP-worthy performances. Who are some of the players that you still have your eye on? Who's the dark horse in this race, Crumbs?
It's not a dark horse, but it's a stallion in the mid lane here, Dash. I think Perkz has been phenomenal ever since the season began post the lock-in. I mean, he plays so well in the mid lane, he sent Amante straight to the bench. But all jokes aside, he is crushing on the champions that he wants to play. Look at this, dodging Azir constantly, already done it before. So I think that Perkz continues to put these performances and it will be the best mid laner in the league. Today is a huge test. If he can do to Jensen what he's done to everybody else, I think he definitely has that spot.
Hi, who are you looking at?
For me, I gotta take a look at top lane, right? Historically, you'll think of MVP top laners, Impact, Someday Huni, but we got a new person in the mix this year, and his name is Alfari. When you're thinking of MVP players, you gotta take a look at a few things. First, we'll look at his stats, in my mind at least. He is pretty much number 1 or 2 in every single stat throughout the entirety of the game, and first or second every stat the pre-15 minutes or the 15 minutes of the early game. So he dominates early game, and then he actually dominates the game as well. So at the very least, he passed that test for me. And then the second test is, if you ask every top laner in the LCS, almost unanimously, they all agree that Alfari is the best top laner. And if we take a look at the tier list yesterday by our analysts, some were better than others, but he is first or second in every single one of those as well. So when you have the players, the analysts, and you have the stats to back you up, that's a pretty strong contender for being MVP worthy.
Well, we've taken a look at the jungle, the mid lane, and the top lane. It seems natural that we turn our attention to the bot lane then, where if we pull up our leaderboards, we start getting an idea of who's delivering those MVP level numbers. Keeping in mind that the categories where you see an asterisk, so goal difference at 10, CS per minute, those are excluding fasting Senna games.
Yeah, kind of got to knock those out. Otherwise, you have no semblance of usable statistics. But I still think it's interesting to look at. And for me, my eyes would go to FBI first. He's also top of the table in forward percent. He gets goal difference, CSD leads, all that stuff. And then in the late game, he's still a monster carry, quite a bit above the second place in damage per minute. FBI is playing really, really well and kind of the pillar, I would say, of the 100 Thieves game plan and a lot of their wins.
I'm gonna be real right here with you all. When you think of MVP players for this split, you don't really think of AD carries. And now you might ask yourself, why is that? And I'm gonna say it's because AD carries don't feel that strong right now. And I'm not saying that only because I've been playing a lot of AD carry in solo queue. It may be that. I'm not gonna say it for sure though. But if Riot is happening to listen, I am more than happy if they choose to buff Ezreal and just don't look at my match history as to why I'm bringing that up.
I'd also want to throw a quick head tap to Sven. I mean, like you're saying about how AD carries are weak right now, you know, like he's definitely playing that kind of weak side style super, super well. I think Sven has also been incredible this split. All of C9 kind of has.
I will just say I support your petition for the Ezreal buffs if and only if we continue to clash together. That's it. That's it.
Agreed.
Otherwise, nerf him into the ground. All right, we're going to take a quick breather, but as we go, let's chill out to some lo-fi plays, courtesy of our very own Mixmaster, Mark Z. We'll see you soon.
Hey everybody, it's time for another chill, lo-fi big brain plays to study and appreciate. The first comes from TSM, who continues to be one of the most creative, late-game shot-calling teams in the LCS. 28 minutes into their game versus Team Liquid, TSM gets cut off from mid during a Baron dance. Most teams accept this positional disadvantage and attempt to mitigate their losses by recalling to defend their inhib, which in turn would cede total map control to Team Liquid. Instead, TSM is all like, forget that, man, and they leak out into top lane to force a bit of a base race. The nice thing about this play is it's a higher pressure play and pushes the game into a more volatile state, which forces TL into a mistake. After both teams take their respective inhibs, Team Liquid want to collapse from mid to punish TSM's escape. TSM make another expert decision, this time to cut the pincer off by attacking one end of it, and they charge down the lane. The next play comes from EG, who shows some pretty dope decisiveness. Ignar's instant flash engage understandably stole the spotlight, but I like Deftly's play here too. Instead of just dropping his blue trinket in the brush, he positioned it to check the full range of red buff pit and the back of the dragon wall, while still checking the brush. To use a fighting game term, had better option coverage. Deftly also has a really nice ult position into the red pit to DPS from over the wall. Anyways, that does it for lo-fi, big brain plays. Now, go give your pets a cuddle during the break.
Hello, and welcome back to the LCS Countdown. No matter what happens on the Rift or in the power rankings, one thing stays constant in this very wicked world. Jeopardash, baby! This week, I thought we'd delve into the realms of deaths, gold differences, and Drake. So without further ado, here is question 1. Which LCS team has the highest gold difference at 10? Bonus points if you can actually tell me that gold difference.
Team
Let's just
Liquid.
go for the team.
Team Liquid, and the difference is 800.
So Mark thinks TL 800 at 10. Again, this is at 10.
CLG. CLG.
CLG. Just because
CLG. So you're playing on the first blood trope
That's right.
that they've got the lead at 10. How much do you think it is?
500.
That would be the highest as well. Okay, so 500, 800. We got TL, CLG, and high. What did you go with?
C9, I'm going to say 1400.
Ooh, okay. Interesting. The answer is Team Liquid with 1,049 gold at 10 minutes. Found this interesting only because of their placement in the standings as of yet. Having 5 losses and considering how dominant we expected them to be, they're still able to generate leads, but in sometimes have failed to close it out.
Was this average or single game?
Average, I believe.
It's average.
Oh,
It should be average.
I don't even know what
Thought
the
it was
question
a
was. I got it
single
right.
Wait, you thought it was a single game?
Yeah, I don't know what we were talking
You shouldn't
about.
have shared
Highest
that.
goal
That just
difference
makes
is
it
10.
look worse.
All right. All right, next up, question 2. Among the players in the LCS who have played all 13 games this spring, Alphari has the fewest deaths at 18. But 2 other players are tied in second. Give me the name of either player.
Fudge. I think he's just chilling top lane playing Gragas or not getting help or not much help, so you don't die.
Okay, we got a Fudge guess.
Sven and Neo.
So he's got, Mark's taking 2
Two?
guesses. He's going to take a crack at both.
Well,
So
it says
Sven and
which
Neo.
players. I thought I had
I know.
2.
Yeah, I like, well, yeah, so I said you could pick either. You got to get one.
Oh.
But I like how you threw in 2 guesses, two opportunities to be right.
So
And High,
who do you
what are you
choose?
thinking?
Well, I choose Deftly. Which one does Mars choose? Does he have to get both?
I want to put another guess in. Blabber, right? We saw some stats earlier. Blabber has not been
All right.
dying a lot from the
You
jungle.
can't nominate the whole league, guys.
You guys are cheating.
Y'all get one guess,
Wait,
and I'm
Mark
marking in your
gets
first
2.
one. So it
We
was
should get
Fudge?
2.
No, Mark
Mike
picked
gets
one.
another.
Mark
Mike gets
picked one.
another one.
Neo. If I have to
Neo
eliminate
and
the
High,
one,
who
I'll
you
go
going
Deftly.
with? I heard
I'm going with
Deftly.
Deftly. Yeah,
Deftly.
yeah.
Hey, 2 of you are correct. It's Deftly and Fudge, both at 19 deaths.
Nice.
Fun fact, actually, Insanity had the fewest deaths until their game yesterday. So he was actually leading the league in this stat category, but got beaten out just yesterday. Question number 3. Which team has claimed the most Dragon Souls this split?
100 Thieves
Thieves.
by game time?
I mean, Dig won yesterday with the Dragon against TSM, and they completely forgot it. They've won a lot of games, I think, through Dragon Control as well. I think Thieves is a good guess, but I'm going to go with Dig just because they're fresh in my mind.
I think
We
both
got
are good, yeah.
Dig, 100 Thieves for game time. High, what are you thinking?
Oh, I'm committed to Thieves for sure, dude. They have the longest average game time and their winning record. They probably have more souls than everybody else. Probably.
All right, the answer, Evil Geniuses at
right.
9 souls. The next closest is 100
What?
Thieves, Dignitas, and
At
Golden
5?
Guardians at 5.
9.
When
So they're winning the games without souls? That's nuts, dude.
Wait,
Yeah.
so EG is actually just an insane dragon control team.
Yeah.
We're all idiots.
Yes.
Good job,
Yes,
Spence.
but their
Garen.
games also go long enough. Well, granted, you can get a soul pretty early if you're on
Yeah.
top of it, to be fair. But yeah, they are blasting the rest of the league when it comes to the soul drakes. All right, last question as a little bonus. What is the most killed drake in the LCS?
Oh.
You got
Well,
four. There's only 4
fire.
drakes. So,
Fire. I call fire.
okay.
Mountain.
We got an infernal guess. We got a mountain guess.
Wind. I think wind is always just
Heart.
sneaking by.
Otherwise known as cloud. Okay, the answer is infernal at 88. Well done, High. Lucky for us, we're not dumb one gaming over there in the LCK, getting those cloud drakes that you mentioned there, Crumbs. Minute in and minute out. Well done, everybody. That was pretty good. That was pretty good. You guys got a number of the more difficult ones.
I got 2 out of
In-game-
4.
Did you get 3 out of 4?
No, 2.
Okay, and you were saying you were bad at this coming into the segment. You were
50%
complaining
is
about
pretty
this
bad,
segment.
isn't it? That's an F.
Have
you
more
know?
confidence, High.
My
Come
parents
on,
would
have
yell
more
at me for that.
confidence.
Come on, Dash.
All right. Let's transition. Game 1, we got Dignitas going up against Golden Guardians. Ahead of that matchup, we had the opportunity to hear from Golden Guardians head coach Nero to get his thoughts on the team's progress so far this spring and what the future might look like for this developing roster.
Yeah, so 2021 definitely was a developmental year for us. Basically, that means we're just planning on building up a core group of players for the future for us and helping them, learn the fundamentals and build up teamwork. Obviously, that comes with a lot of challenges that are different from the challenges you get on a team where you're pushing for that immediate success. There's a lot of things to tackle with development. There's a lot of different things you have to work on the team with, a lot of fundamental aspects that you have to, teach everyone and help them grow to learn and understand. So a lot of stuff right now has been very heavily focused on like early game fundamentals, just how to play around like waves, jungle timings, and make early game feel like you're playing as a team and not just, solo queue. It was more so like our first and third game. I felt more positive about what happened in those games, being in winning situations in those games and managing to lose them never feels good. But for me, the biggest part was just we've really struggled to show like the same level of confidence that we'll show in practice when it comes especially to wanting to take fights, wanting to punish different mistakes that other teams are making that we see. A lot of the time in the game, like our team will notice it and we're hesitant and we hesitate to react. But in the EG game, I was happy with the fact that, we pulled the trigger and went. And the fact that we're able to take those fights on stage makes it really easy to like look at that and talk about what people should be doing differently and less so about, hey, like these guys are messing up. I don't care if we lose a game, if it means that we tried to win. Like if we tried to win the game and we lost, I'm happy. But I'll always be extremely unhappy and we should all feel bad as a team if we lose a game because we didn't try to win and we just let the other team get away with mistakes. Learning when you can like punish those mistakes of people is definitely, it's an experience thing, but a lot of it is really, I think, just pattern recognition. Like you recognize that you've created a situation in the game for yourself where you have an advantageous position. Like success with the development roster, the biggest way to notice that something was successful is obviously just to see, wins eventually start coming. Like as the split starts going on, you start seeing more consistency through like earlier parts of the game, consistency with like actually being able to close them out. But long term, the real marker of success for it is to like find that core group of players from who you're developing. For the team itself and for success, like actually just being able to see small improvements and it grow over time is really the biggest marker. So I felt like our players are still making really good strides, so I'm happy so far with it, but I know it's not always the easiest thing to see.
I like what Anero's saying there about wanting players to try their hardest to win. I definitely feel them at times, though, like the players, why they don't do that. They don't want to get bashed by their peers, the people on solo queue, social media, whatever that is. For players that are listening, just ignore all that, Hopefully your team has your back. Hopefully the managers that say your development roster give you time to develop, because I'd much rather see these players go for the 10-0 plays or the 0-10 plays. I myself have gone 0-10s in games before. Maybe even at Worlds. I'm not entirely sure. Or at the very least, very close to that at Worlds. And no one's going to be like looking at my career and said, I failed. I think my career was a pretty successful one. And you guys have my permission to go int. I will approve of it and support you as long as they are good ints. There's a difference between a good and a bad one, but you guys know what that is, right?
Stamp of approval from High.
Yeah, and I think it's important to keep this kind of mentality up going forward because unlike previous splits, when you get knocked out of playoffs contention now, you're not just playing spoiler. Your spring split record carries over to summer. And so for me, a great success for Golden Guardians with the developmental roster would be to make playoffs when it's the 8 teams in summer. If they can improve to make that, that'd be really good. But that still means that picking up wins now is important. I don't mean, don't focus on development, but like Hai's saying, keep playing aggressive, keep trying to find these wins and actually pick some up.
I think that aligns as well with what Anero said. He wants to see the team try to win, even if it ultimately ends in failure. Golden Guardians today, they face off against Dignitas, who are coming off a surprising win versus TSM yesterday, which we discussed a little bit already. Destroying the Nexus after a clutch late-game team fight with Soligo, taking the spotlight to deliver the Dignitas Grubhub dub.
That's right, the critical moment, the wolf fight that has a shockwave that catches the carries of TSM. It's a great move there out of him. He delivered that win, but we all know that the real driver of that one was the TSM roster themselves going for this fight that had no business happening. But hey, they're glad to take it, and they're glad to fill their bellies with another dub.
Now, we could all use a delivery as tasty as the team fight right there, and Grubhub is bringing you just that. Not only are they delivering the win here on broadcast, but you can also get the chance to score a $50 Grubhub gift card if you hit us up on Twitter using the hashtag GHLCS, and let us know who you think has delivered the win so far this weekend. And for an added bit of deliciousness, make sure to use the offer code CHAMPION to score 20% off your orders of $10 or more. Now, it's hard to be upset about a victory, but I'm sure Dignitas would have preferred it happen a little differently. Hai, I know you still have some questions about the depth and breadth of their playstyle.
Right. I have a bit of criticism towards them, but it's criticism that could be applied to every team, so it's not just directly them. First and foremost, their laning is a tad weak. I'd like to see it be a bit stronger, but that's something that comes with time. But for their macro play, they don't have very good side lane control come mid-game. They don't trade too many objectives, and they pretty much just play for team fights. Whether that's the meta right now or not, it's arguable, but I'd like to see more teams exploring playing through the side. TSM has been really good at that recently with Shen. And just specifically, I'd like to see more from Neo and Afro. They have been doing better bot lane, so it's not like that they suck or anything like that, but it's just I want to see more from them so that they contest for a top 3 bot lane in the league, which I think they're pretty close to, so...
Yeah, and I think that this is definitely one of those teams that feels a little bit better than the sum of their parts. Their team fighting, like you're saying, is really good, as well as their objective control. When you look at their Drake stats, they actually are able to secure quite a few of those. This puts pressure on a lot of teams around the 3rd or 4th Drake to step up and contest them in these 50-50 situations. And a lot of teams in the LCS right now fail those. And that's why a number of teams, like we were talking about 100 Thieves, they've picked up wins through having really good objective control and other teams failing to punish them in those final late game situations.
And I think for them, just being able to be on the same page about just one thing in the game is more than half the league right now. You already saw how TSM was scrambling to take that team fight at the Wolf Pit. So Dignitas, I think the attitude that embodies them is that a single person gets cut out, it's a mistake. 5 people get cut out, it's a team fight. That's a pretty good way of playing League.
Well, that's forever going to be my motto when I play League of Legends. All right, Dignitas trying to claw their way up the standings and snag that 2nd place spot all for themselves. Let's hand it over to the casters as we get into Game 1.